Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 304 of the Mike White's podcast. I'm Jack, as always, joined by Casey.
Now then.
How's things, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Just like always, Leeds win, puts you in a great mood for the coming days. And because we don't play till Monday, it can't even mess up your weekend.
No, it's quite nice, really. I could get used to Monday night football.
Well, you'd better, because that's our next two games. So, yeah, we'll just get straight into it. We're looking at coming back and doing another one Sunday. So we'll talk about the upcoming Sunderland game then and just have a happy look back. Watford 0, Leeds United 4. Now, Leeds are better than Watford and they're playing really well. And we all went for a win. But I don't think any of us thought it was going to be this easy.
No, it was really nice to have a game like that completely wrapped up after 35 minutes. Was it 3 goals in 15 minutes?
Yeah.
And just never laid a glove on us. It was lovely.
Yeah. I have to be honest, I've actually, one of the notes is, and that's the game. And that's actually after Dan James scores his second. So I would say we had it wrapped up after 28 minutes, if I'm being honest. Leeds started the better side. Watford did have a couple of early efforts, but Peru had one in the first minute, and then he had a really good chance on about 15 minutes where Allenson played him in, he cut inside onto his right foot and hit it straight at the keeper. Excuse me. Which was a pretty weak effort, but 20th minute, Watford playing it around at the back, and Aoke Mbe lays a perfect ball into the path of Dan James, who just runs through and scores. It's a really good, really composed finish, which is what we've been seeing lately, him with composure. He had the game at Coventry where he lost it for a game, but he's back again. He finished really well, but I have seen that back now a couple of times, and I still have no idea what Kembe is trying to do. I think he's trying to go to the left centre-back, but it's so far away from
him. Yeah, it was a lovely weighted ball into the path of Dan James, who the only thing I'm going to nitpick at ever so slightly in this is his body shape when he hits that is all over the place. Because his body is facing outside of the left-hand post. But yeah, it was that sort of thing with Dan James of just being completely aware to the situation and a dreadful pass. Not his last bad pass of the game either. He will have better games.
Yeah, I must have. It's very rare that you get to say that Dan James is like American pop culture in about 2007, in that it's very aware of the situation. I've never seen that show. I hope my year was roughly correct.
That was a Jersey Shore reference. I will give you that one.
I've never seen that show. I have seen the cast of Geordie Shore get bottles thrown at them at my university freshers, but never mind. Oh, yeah, no, 7's probably, it might be earlier than that then. But yeah, Leeds, once we took the lead, even with my massive Leeds United pessimism that I always have, we watched it in the pub and it was very relaxed. Once Leeds got that first goal, I think everyone had the same thought of, we'll be all right here. And for everything, the first goal comes from a mistake. I thought the second goal was outstanding. Tanaka makes an interception in Leeds' box. Ampadu straight out to Allenson first time. Beats his man. Good left-footed ball through for Peru. Leeds 2v1, which is the situation where you're like, right, just use it properly. And Peru plays James in. Perfectly weighted pass. Good touch. Great finish again. And yeah, that's where I've put, and that's the game done.
It's such a confident finish as well, because he absolutely hammers that past the keeper. Because in that position, you're running through, you just think side foot that one into the corner, and you're done. Nah, I'm having this. Dan James,
10th goal in the league as well this season for Dan James.
Yeah, 2-3 years ago, I wouldn't have fancied Dan James in that position. I wouldn't fancy Dan James in any centre forward like position. But Marcelo Bielsa was a visionary. He did see if you put him in those positions, he was just 4 years out of time.
But no, it was a really good goal, and I said the confidence of the finish to hit it with power and go high. You can really tell that he's in great nick at the minute. Dan James is having an unbelievable season.
I can't remember the order in which this comes. I think the confidence of the man is one, absolutely pelting it past the centre back, and then trying the left-footed lob from 50 yards.
I believe that was at 3-0, but we will talk about it. I honestly don't remember his name. The centre back that isn't Matty Pollock, I think, was the one that chested it down wrong. But yeah, Dan James just zooms past him. And it is a proper love to see it, and I love to have seen it more on his right foot. But you'll love to see it because their keeper's a mile off his line. It's a completely reasonable idea to go for this, and he doesn't quite catch it. He gets plenty of power, but there's no height on it, and he pulls it right. But to see him sprinting through and shooting left-footed from 40-odd yards, yeah, you could say that his confidence is high.
Yeah, he was. He was absolutely on top form, was Dan James, and again, it is a shame for Nonto and Ramazani, but the wings are just in such good form at the moment, and then Bogle and James on that right hand side. It was probably one of Bogle's quieter games, but again, in as much as I don't think he had to do as much as he normally does.
No, but I thought he defended well when he was called upon. He got forward well. His passing was everything about him was good. He just didn't have quite as many really standout moments in attack in this one. But to be honest, I thought the same for Firpo.
Yeah.
He was absolutely good. But the difference is that Junior Firpo got an assist from a throw-in.
Your dad must be so happy.
I texted him immediately. Just assist from a throw-in. ... Yeah. Leeds have always been shit at throw-ins. I mean, I've been going 28 and a bit years, and Leeds have been shit at throw-ins for all about 4 weeks. Throw-in, and Manor Solomon just uses his strength, rolls the defender, hits the shot. It's not even that great a shot, but massive deflection off Pollock, goes in the corner. And yeah, I assume it's Leeds' first assist direct from the throw-in since Weston McKennie set up Rodrigo away at West Ham when we were in Castillon. And then before that, it might legitimately be Connor Wickham. Because I know that he got one that got flicked on at the near post and went right in the far corner. But yeah, it was the goal itself is a bit lucky, but the turn from Solomon to get away from his man is really good.
Yeah, the turn's good. He shows good strength as well. I would say if you're defending against Solomon, you maybe be a little bit disappointed that you've been done for strength by him. But does exactly what he has to do. As you say, big deflection, but it was the sort of night where if you were Leeds and going to hit something, there was a very good chance it was going in.
Yeah. I mean, there's only really one bit. There was only one bit of danger in the first half. They played a good ball from deep, and Musa Sissoko got away down right. But Melier came off his line well, narrowed the angle, and made a good save. And that was the only difficult save that he had to make all game. Obviously, he checked the Tadzu at the bar in the last minute, and that was a little bit unlucky. But there was no real danger. And in the second half, I mean, Watford had plenty of the ball in the first half. But in the second half, Leeds were just content, especially the first maybe 10 minutes of the second half. They were just content to let Watford have the ball. And just go, all right, we'll have it. They did Farker power saving mode, as we call it, a bit. And just let it happen. There was no real danger. And Leeds just seeing the game out until Autanaka runs in a circle and breaks Tom Ince's brain into very small pieces.
Some say Tom Ince is still running in a circle in that very stadium. Just you're watching something going, oh dear.
It's a good turn. There's no shame in getting beat by it, but it's that when he turns, he doesn't go with him. He
He
just like
goes around him, he follows it. It's the game of follow the lead. You're like, no, just stay goal side. You're now the right side. Even I was frustrated, going, why have you gone that way?
I was just laughing because I did have that thought of, God, if a Leeds midfielder had just done that, I'd be furious. But no, Tanaka gets away, plays a little ball through to Solomon, plays it across to Joe Peru. I believe the best way to phrase it is he sits down Matty Pollock. I mean, Pollock really throws himself. He was pissed off with that tackle. But it's a bad combination when you go for the pissed off lunge and miss by 3 yards. And Peru just calmly finishes it into the bottom right corner. Really, again, nice to see him get the goal. Since his game at Burnley, where he was crap, Joe Peru has been outstanding. It's not just that he's getting goals and assists. All of his movement is better. He's making more runs in behind. There's just more of everything that you want from a number 9. And I do wonder if, when I was saying, like, you've almost got to drop someone after a performance like that to give him a kick up the arse. I wonder if Farke might have given him the kick up the arse by just bollocking him.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic.
Listen, Joel, I have this Spanish child sat here waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, he's been in great nick since then. To be honest, I was just looking back there. So in the league, we've not conceded a goal since the 3-3 draw against Hull.
I'll delete this line that says, since the Hull match in the league, 18 goals scored, none conceded.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This has very much gone from my complaints of I'm not Farke out. I just think it's a bit dull sometimes. To Jesus Christ, what these weeks when I've been saying, look, there's no one in that team I would have in our team, except in your case when you went with Czech for Tadze. And
yeah, I mean, the thing is,
Brendan Aronson
had a good enough game to kind of shut me up a bit.
But like all these weeks, we keep playing these teams where you just go, they're not up to much. They are inconsistent by their very nature. They're in the Championship. And there's not really any of their players that have in our team. And now we're actually turning up to these teams going, you know what? These aren't actually up to much. Let's just go turn them over. And we are like you said, I know Watford had a couple of players out. I don't think it would have made that big of a difference. I just think we're playing that well at the moment. We're coming into these games with so much confidence. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it says a lot with the way that everyone is, like, the other teams are talking about Leeds. You would honestly think that they were all playing for second, which isn't true. But the way that you're hearing managers talk about it and stuff like that, like Clever. I mean, obviously they're not going to be in the race with us, but Cleverly was just saying, "Yeah, there's not really much you can do." Yeah, like we're in the presence of a very strong Championship side. I think we knew that before, but it is one of the best teams I have seen at this level.
I mean, you look now, and it's probably one of those things that's harder to see when it's happening. But I think I said before, whereas last season there just seemed to be this, oh, we're struggling a bit, give it to Somerville. There isn't that in this team. There is, Dan James is being utilised so much more, which just means that teams can't just go, well, mark him and they're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, we are much more of a threat all round now. And yeah, it's probably disappointing that we don't have someone on 14 goals at this point. But
can I immediately whip the piss out of you? It's very unfortunate that we don't have someone on like 14 goals at this point. Joe Peru has 14 league goals.
Oh, Joe Peru got 14 now.
Yeah, he's got literally 14 league goals.
Fair enough. You know what?
He's also got 6 assists. He's also got 6 assists, so he's already on 20 goal contributions.
Lazy bastard. Could be 25. But when you look at that team, and as you say, Solomon's been since he came into the team. Solomon's been probably getting a goal every 3 games. Dan James has hit 10 for the season. Brendan Aronson is at what, 5, 6, 7?
Brendan Aronson has 8 goals, 2 assists in 32 appearances. Manor Solomon has 7 goals, 7 assists in 25 games.
Like as a front four, they're in such good form.
Yeah,
like Brendan Aronson, I know is very much you can take him or leave him depending on what phase of play you're in. But he does contribute there. He could definitely contribute more, but he contributes. Yeah. Solomon's been in the teams pretty much since, what would you say, about October?
Yeah, well, he came in, immediately got injured. And then it took a couple of games for him to get back in the starting lineup. But since he got fully fit, he's just been... I mean, as I say, you mentioned earlier that he's a bit unlucky for Ramazani and Nonto, and it is. Because unless one of them comes off the bench and scores 2 for a couple of games in a row, they're not even going to get a look in. Because if you come off the bench and like just score, that's not going to be enough to get you in the team in those positions at the minute.
No, I mean you look at the Cardiff game where Nonto came on the pitch, instantly got the ball, beat 3 players, scored a great goal. You're like, grand, but James and Solomon have been doing that for months now. Like you say, there's so much more there's so much you have to cram into those very limited 20 minutes you're going to get. And I think when we spoke about the starting lineup, obviously, I think you kind of went with, well, you're probably bringing Pascal Strout back in and Ampadu steps up, but
I thought that it would. I honestly thought that it would do that because I thought that he saw Strout as the first choice centre half and Ampadu as the first choice midfielder. Because he didn't do it for Watford, he's not doing that for the rest of the season if this all stays fit and keeps playing like this.
Yeah, I genuinely think it is now a case of anyone he sees as potentially having a bit of threat about them. Gruev starts, if not, Rothwell starts, and it's Tanaka.
Yeah, that's what I think it will be. You might get Rothwell for Gruev in the quote-unquote easier games. But yeah, if we keep playing like this, not conceding for 6 games and stuff, I can understand why he doesn't want to break up Roden and Ampadu. Now, I still think our actual best team is Stroud at centre back and Ampadu in midfield. But I ain't got a leg to stand on in, oh no, we should change it. Absolutely not. I wouldn't change it either. I probably would have brought Stroud in for the Watford game, but I've been proved wrong about that. So fair enough, you just keep going. The only thing I was going to bring up was my evening of yelling at Bet365. Because my bet builder lost because Altanaka didn't have a shot, even though he definitely fucking did. And not, it was a blocked one in a scramble. No, he had a shot on the 70th minute from the edge of the box that went just wide. It was a really good effort.
Misplaced pass.
And I did eventually. I mean, it's actually not 365. They'll get the stats from Opta, and someone at Opta will have missed it. But I did eventually get my money anyway. In the end, just telling them enough was ready. I did have various screenshots ready to go of live blogs. I had tweets from Graham Smith and Joe Donahue. All ready to go to argue.
I think one of the things that happened in that game as well that just, when it sums up a team's performance, Edu Kayembe's pass out of play for a corner.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Just a pass to absolutely no one. And I think as you listen to the commentary where they're going, he's getting that pat on the head of, come on now. Come on. Get yourself going here, son. You're better than this.
Yeah, it was quite surprising that out of all of the players, I'm just checking if this is true, but I think, he left him on for the full 90 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he was not having a good game.
No, I mean, I don't like the algorithm-based man of the matches. For what it's worth, Solomon, goal and assist, but he has the same score as Peru, goal and assist. A bit better than Dan James with these 2 goals, but that's because he'll have missed a couple and it'll knock him off. But that's 8.8 for a man of the match. KMB 4.8 is the standout in the other direction. He did not have a good day.
No. There was a part of me, because I know they've come into this one in a bit of rocky form at this point, haven't they? And Tom Cleverley.
Yeah, well, they'd lost. Well, they got a good result against Sunderland, but they'd lost the 3 before that.
Yeah. And Tom Cleverley has outlasted the vast majority of Watford managers in the last 7 years.
Yeah, I mean they are 12th. I don't think it's reasonable to expect much better than that from Watford when 2 of your best 3 attacking players are injured as well.
Oh, yeah. I just mean in terms of the general longevity of Watford managers. It's not unheard of for sacking managers for less.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, like you say, I just really enjoyed that we turned up to a mid-table team who are not in great form and just went, right, we're just going to smash you.
Yeah, which is exactly what we did at Coventry. I know it was only 2-0, but it was 2 going on 6 and 7 against Cardiff. The past few, it's sort of getting hard to argue that in terms of recent form, we've rarely seen it relative to the division we are in. We've rarely seen us be better than this.
Yeah, I think so. Certainly last season, I know around this time last year was when we kind of kicked off and went on a good run. But I don't think the performances were as all dominating as these last few have been.
Yeah.
It's obviously we've said we'll kind of do the preview later in the week.
Yeah.
But you couldn't come into these 2 games in better nick than we are.
No. Yeah, if you in this sort of if we play like this for the rest of the season, we'll win the league. It's just a massive if. We can't be sure we will. But if we were to play like this for the rest of the season, we would win the league, and we'd probably end up winning it by a distance. But we'll have to see what happens, because the unfortunate thing was we did think, we play Tuesday, they all play Wednesday. If we get a result, it really heaps the pressure on. Sheffield United beat Middlesbrough 3-1. Burnley beat Hull 2-0, which is 10 clean sheets in a row in the Championship, which I believe has never been done before. And Sunderland beat Luton 2-0. So we're still a 5-point gap to third. Still 2 points clear of Sheffield United. 7 clear of Sunderland. 21 clear of Blackburn. I have read the reasons why: closer to family, better money, has a previous relationship with the club. But it is mental seeing a manager leave 5th place Blackburn to go to 21st place Derby in February. It just feels weird. But he apparently doesn't get on with the owners as well, so probably just wanted out. The only good thing to come out of it is, I dare say, Leeds fans made quite a bit of money last night, because I bet I wasn't the only one back in that treble.
Yeah.
Did you watch any of their games? I didn't. I watched the Merseyside derby.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Well, by all accounts, they were all deserved wins over teams that weren't good. Obviously, once Sunderland beat Luton 2-0, which puts us in real danger of beating your worst ever prediction, because Luton Town are literally bottom of the league.
Oh, God.
And I had them to win the league.
I think I did as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, look,
It's not
I can
looking good.
I can understand people's. Yeah, we both had Luton winning it. Alex and Benny both had Luton second. Connie was the one who was really going against the grain and thinking Luton would be shite because they had him fifth. Which would mean that he only if they finish bottom, that would mean that he only gets -10 when we get -20. Because 19 places is not 20. Yeah, before obviously if we're gonna probably aim for Sunday, we may as well mention that Saturday is your next opportunity to have a pessimist double because Burnley are away at Preston at 12:30, and then Sheffield United away at Luton. Obviously, as we just said, Luton are bottom of the league and playing absolutely awful, which makes it hard for me to get. Oh, it has moved slightly. Sheffield United are 5-4 for that game. They were 11-8 when I looked earlier. And 11-8 felt like a massive price. And I was going to say Leeds fans should all back that because you either get some money at a decent price or they don't win. And either one of those is a good result. But I'd be surprised if, like, Preston aren't playing well enough to score more than one against Burnley massively. Like, at the minute, no one can score against Burnley, so you can't see it being more than one. And I think Burnley will have enough to get a couple against Preston. So I think they'll win. And where Luton are playing, I can't see him getting a result against anyone other than Leeds, obviously, because that's just what happens.
I know that's a Lancashire derby, but my God, having seen the way Preston set themselves up against teams at the top and with how unentertaining Burnley are, that could be a dire game of football.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there an actual... I can say it's very decent early kickoff on Saturday for this on instead of that. Oh, it's Leicester and Arsenal. Right, cool. Well, I'll watch that. So yeah, I am actually expecting us to go into the next game no longer top of the league because I think Sheffield United will have won and gone up to 70 points.
You've mentally prepared yourself, have you?
Yeah. But we will talk more about the Sunderland game on Sunday because by then we'll know how Sheffield United and Burnley have got on. And also we'll have had the press conference. So if there are any injury updates or anything like that, we'll know. But yeah, have we anything else we need to talk about? I don't believe so.
No, I think we're all good.
Cool. Nice one. Well, in that case, we will be back on Sunday. I've been Jack. See you.